Good morning and welcome to Thinking About Home Education. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maria. I'm the mother of 5. I have 1 remaining home educated child. I have 3 that have been or are in university and 1 that has chosen to go down the work route at the moment. So home education has very much been a part of our life for, goodness, many years. My eldest is 26. But what I really wanted to talk about today was what life is like in this moment. We are all experiencing the coronavirus. We are all experiencing isolation. We are being told to stay home. And for some of you, that's going to mean for the first time having your kids at home and thinking about education. So I guess where I want to start is to say, what is happening now is not home education. It is not homeschooling. And I say that for both me and for you. We are in unprecedented times, and this situation here is not what homeschooling, home education is normally about. For us personally, we have activities that we would normally go to this week to get out and do socialisation, and they've all been cancelled in the same way that your life as a school parent has been cancelled for your child in many respects. So what I would like to say is that we really are all in this together. While I may have more experience of being at home with my kids, this is new for me too, and we are all muddling through what this moment in history looks like for us. In bearing that in mind, I guess what has been on my heart in the last couple of days is thinking about the type of parent a child needs at this moment in time, and the type of parent that, if I was to imagine myself here as a little girl now, what would I need from a parent? And so what I'm going to ask you to do is to get a piece of paper. If you journal like I journal, maybe get your journal and think about what it may have been like for you as a child experiencing something like this. And what is it that you might need from the parents or the caregivers around you, and think through all of those emotions. Were you a child that needed routine? Were you a child that would have liked to have been left alone to read books and do projects on your own? Are you a child that needed lots of nurture and lots of hugs and lots of reassurance? Were you a child that perhaps was slightly more okay with things and didn't want the worry that your parents had about life to affect you quite so much, because actually you knew how you felt about things? So there are all these different ways of being in moments like this, and we are all unique and individual. And I think for me, as I've been thinking about the next couple of months, I've been trying to think about what I might have needed as a child in a situation like this. And I know for me, I was an avid reader. I did like the outdoors. I can remember spending lots of time on a trampoline or riding a bike. I can remember liking to explore. Now, they're things that may change and will change in the next little while. Kids won't be allowed to just go and do those things. But knowing that about myself, knowing that I was a child that did like to spend a long time on a trampoline, for instance, I was also a child that was happy to be immersed in books. They perhaps were 2 of the needs that I might have had as a child. And so I guess what I'm asking us to do now is to think about the emotional and physical needs that we had. I know for me, one of the things that I find important is to try and find that place within me that I'm experiencing calm and peace, and try to be in that place as much as possible. And I find it very difficult not to take on the worry and anxiety of others. So for me, part of my protection of my inner child, if you like, is saying, okay, those are your worries, these are my worries, and returning to that place of my inner sanctuary. But I'm then thinking through, okay, that's me. That's my inner child. That's what I want. That is what I need. But how then does something like that apply to my children now, today, in this realm? Are they children that need to be able to retreat to that inner world without taking on all of the anxiety and stress that I have as a parent? So perhaps even draw yourself as a child around it. Just think through all the things that you would like or need if you could have had the perfect childhood with the perfect parents. What is it that they would have given you to help you get through a time like this? When we have done that, on another page, perhaps get a photo of your child or your children, or draw a picture of your child, or write their names, and think about the types of things that you know about them. And they're going to be so individual. Not every child is going to have the same needs. But think about them and what they need in this situation. And rather than parenting out of that place of fear of things that is going on in the world at the moment, parenting out of those two places, being able to see you and what you would have needed as a child, but also being able to see them and their uniqueness and their individuality, and seeing what they need right now from us as parents. It is really easy in these times of uncertainty, when everything is feeling chaotic and out of control, to default to what helps us get through a situation. You might be somebody who likes routine. You might be somebody who that is really helpful for you. You like to organize everything, and when that is done, then everything feels safer and more in control for you. But you may be working with a child that likes to fly by the seat of the pants a little bit more and doesn't like to feel so controlled and stifled. They may like their autonomy and their freedom. Or you might have the complete opposite. You might be, I'm a little bit more like this, a fly by the seat of your pants kind of gal, that I like to know what's going on, that's for sure. And I do like some routine and structure, but I'm also okay to kind of go with the flow a little bit when we're at home and just kind of see what unravels for us. So if I've then got a child that really flourishes with routine and structure, it is no good me just being this go with the flow kind of person for me and then ignoring what they need. So there needs to be this place of acknowledging who we are as the adult, what we need, what is important to us, what helps us feel safe and secure, and then also holding that really loosely in our hands. If you cup your hands together and sort of imagine yourself there, then sort of looking at our children and saying, okay, that's what I need, but this is what they need, and trying to find that balance. If you sort of imagine that old-fashioned weighing station, making the balance equidistant somehow between what is important for us to feel safe and secure, but also what is important for our children. We need to be driven at the moment by our love, by our care, by our protection, by what is best for us, what is best for our children in this time, rather than those panicked places where we are unaware of why we're doing what we're doing and why we're acting the way we're acting and why we're making the decisions we are. Just slowing things down a little bit and saying, this is who I am, and that's okay. I'm going to give myself what I need right now. But I could also acknowledge that I have this little person over here and they need these other things, and I need to be there for them as well right now, as well as myself. But all of that takes amazing honesty with ourselves and bravery and courage to be able to look within and say, I'm feeling really scared and anxious right now. The world feels out of control. What do I need at the moment? What is it that will help me get through this time? What would have helped me as a child get through a time such as this? It's okay to be frightened. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be anxious and worried and thinking through what this all means for us. These are very real and raw emotions. To feel them is all okay, but it is only when we allow ourselves to feel them and to name them, to acknowledge them, can we say, okay, I get it, this is who I am, this is how I'm feeling, but I want to operate from this place over here. I want to be there in love and resilience and bravery and courage right now. If you decide to do this activity, that is going to be a lot of emotional digging deep. I am going to get my journal out in a little while and think about what I would have been like as a child and what I may have needed. Not to blame anybody, but just to say, this is who I am, this is what I need, this is who my children are, this is what they need, and we are going to try and journey together as best we can on this mucked up, confused, chaotic world at the moment that we are living in. I have been Maria, you have been awesome, and this has been Thinking About Home Education. I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.